Hey guys. Okay, this next person was a little kid, like 12, 14, somewhere in there. And she went missing in Orange County, California. And we're watching on CNN, missing child, Orange County, California. So my buddy, he gets his paper out. I go do I will myself to the girl. I don't know her name. I can't remember her name. But this was one of the worst ones I ever did. So just to get you ready, you may not want to hear it if you're really sensitive, because it's bad. And anyway, so I hook up to this. I hook up to the girl, and I will myself there, and she's tied up on a couch, and the room. It's an apartment room. It's all wood, except the walls. I mean, the floor is wood. There's wood trim around. It's relatively dark in there, and there's just a couch, a TV, a table, and cigarette butts, and crap laying around. And the guy, I could see the guy. He had a tattoo. He had black hair. He t-shirt, jeans, white male, like 20s, 27, somewhere around there. And I could see it, and so I had to get more detail. And so I panned out onto the street. I walked out on the street. I had to go downstairs. I went to the door, went down the stairs, out on the street, crossed the road, and I'm looking. And now I can see, I can use my visual for when you remote view, you're spiritual, you can see. Well, over to the left, there was I believe it was a smokestack to the left of the building. And the apartment was in front. Now, the apartments were like those apartments that were all together, and they were all the same, like a house, but they're all connected. It was like that, and that's what I'm looking at. And so my buddy called the cops and gave the description of what I'm seeing. That was about it. I mean, I tried to get more visuals, more points to where she's located, but I couldn't. It was in a big area where all the buildings were the same, the apartments on the road. It was big, suburby, downtown, not rich people, but in between sort of thing. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, I wait a while. I come back. I see the same thing. My buddy calls a cop. Cop's back. I think it was on the same day later or the next day. He calls the cops. He's talking to the cop as the cop's driving around looking. And the last I heard was my buddy gave the cop the description, and he goes, the cop said there's a bunch of streets that are like what you're describing. He goes, and I know where the smokestack is. It was either a smokestack or a water tower or something. A water tower, like one of the towers with the thing on top. But I think it was a smokestack. I could see it over to the left. Here, smokestack. And I'm facing south. I believe I am. And yeah, I was facing south because the sun was hitting the building, the front of the building. All the buildings were lit up by the sun. Plus, instinctively, you're facing south. So that was a factor in it. And the cops said, well, there's a lot of buildings that look like that, but I know where the smokestack is, and I'm in the area, in the suburb where the buildings are. And I said, well, this is where she is, in one of these buildings, and somewhere in the middle of this line of buildings, she's in there. And he's like, okay, so we're talking to the cops. So I'm seeing the cops describing. He's like, yeah, the smokestack's there, but there's so many streets that look like this that it's hard to figure out. And I go, I wish I could narrow it down. I'm looking for things, but I can't. Everything is weird. It's like the same. Everything's like the same. there was nothing to pinpoint that I could see. And I went up in the air, I looked around, but it was in a congested area of the apartment. It was like a big suburb. Like if you go on Google Earth and there's like 20 streets and they're all the same, that's what the cops looking for. And I'm looking for an airport, railroad tracks. The main thing I got was the smokestack. And so anyway, the cops were like, yep. And, but, you know, there's hundreds of houses that all look like we were describing. And I'm like, fuck. So I went back and forth a couple days trying to get more details. I don't know if I did or not. I can't remember that because what happened next is the worst. So I hook up one day in a coffee shop and I reach out. I hook up to the girl and I'm touching her flesh to, you know, to hook up to her so I can get grounded, spiritually grounded, and see what I gotta see. He's raping her as I'm looking at it. Okay? She got a black thing over her head. She's tied up and he's raping her. And I just went nuts in my head. I couldn't. I just started swinging, punching him in the head. Didn't do nothing, but my instinct took over. And then after I was there for about 10 minutes maybe, and it was bad. And then at one point, I came back and I couldn't deal with it. I went back again. I didn't want to because I know nothing changed, but I needed to know if they moved her or not, if he moved her. I went back and looked again, I believe, and I went back and looked again, and he wasn't there. He had left. So I came back. I couldn't see anything else. Then, I think it was the next day, around 10, we're in the coffee shop. My buddies get the pad of paper. I'm going back to look to see if she's there, right? And that was hard to watch. I mean, to see. And there's nothing you can do. But your rage, everything you are, just wants this guy. Like if you saw this in real life, you'd kill the guy. Straight up. Or you would break some bones until he quit. Something like that. That's where I was. That's from the place. And I could only hang there. The more angrier I got, the connection started breaking, so I had to recalculate and go back and look. And I didn't even want to do it because I knew what was happening. I don't want to witness it, right? I go back. I go back the next day. I hook up to her, grab her flesh or whatever, and she was laying on the ground, I think. She was laying on the ground, and I hooked up to her and she was dead. And I could see her head was smashed in. And this guy, he has a hammer. I think it was a hammer. And I hooked up to her and immediately, this guy's going fucking nuts, running around the house, trying to figure out what to do or whatnot. And as I'm watching this, it's like I'm out of it. I'm not part of it this time. I'm not a part of it this time. It was really weird. But I'm seeing it like I normally do, but I wasn't emotionally involved in it. And so she's laying there dead. He's just running around circles, smashing walls and kicking things and going nuts because he just killed her. And then I came back. He told the police, and that was that. Like every time I went and saw, I'd see something new. He called the police. And we always try to get the same guy. Like, they all have their own phone numbers or whatnot. So anyway, besides that, next day goes by. I didn't go back. No, I gotta tell you what happened. I came back. He's calling the cops. I'm sitting there, and he's done calling the cops. And all of a sudden, I'm just sitting there thinking, and this emotion hit me, and I just burst out crying. And it was weird because it was like my soul was crying, not my head. Like, it was, I don't know, it was like two things. But it's like my soul went right in, all the sickness of an innocent kid being murdered, raped and murdered, and all the energy just went, or my soul just, grief, I don't know, my soul just started bawling its eyes out, and I started bawling my eyes out. Then, it all went away. Then I'd be sitting at the coffee table, about 10 minutes later, whoosh, just happened again. Just out of nowhere, tears just went, boom, right out of my eyes. It was the weirdest thing. Never experienced that before. Then, it would go away, instantly. And then I'd be sitting there, and I'd be walking around talking to other people, talking to him, talking to my buddy about the case and everything, and all of a sudden, whoosh, just tears burn. I'm getting a coffee, I'm standing there, and talking to the lady behind the counter, and tears just whoosh, right out of my eyes. I couldn't even believe it. It was just like this energy. It was like I was brought there and felt the whole thing again, each time. Crazy. And it really freaked me out a lot. And I'd be walking down the street later that day, I'm walking home. I'm looking for cars, I'm looking for traffic, trying to do my thing, not thinking about it too much. Just boosh. Right out of nowhere. I started bawling my eyes out. So next morning, I remember we got up, went to the coffee shop. I did another remote view. I didn't really want to do it, but I remote viewed her. I hooked up to her flash or whatever, and she's in this tall grass, this tall yellow grass. And she's laying on the side of a 2-lane highway. So there's a 2-lane highway, runs north-south, and there's grass. Not tall grass, but, grass. Yellow, and it's yellow, it's like dead. It's sort of deserty, and there's tall grass on the side of the road, and it's like desert. And she's laying there, I can see the crack in her head, and some other spots on her, and I tried to figure out where she was hurt, but she was dead. And I told him, he called the cop, he called the cop. Or maybe the cop was an FBI. The cop called the FBI. I forgot how we got involved with the FBI, but he called the FBI. I think he called the cop. We couldn't figure that out. We called the cop, and the cop took the report, and we said she's dead. She's on this road. Orange County is south of the road. I think there was a dirt roads in the desert, maybe railroad tracks way far away, but she's on the side of this road. And I go, do you know the road? The cop goes, yeah, I know the road. And you go, well, if you drive down the road, she's on the going south. You're going south down this road. She's on the side of the road in the grass. And he's like, yeah, okay. So, as soon as I get done that, he sends a report to the cop. Later that day, not even like 2 hours. Not even like 2 hours. On the news came a report that they found the girl. And I think the news report they actually had on the TV, the camera, the police cars, the body bag sitting over there, exactly as I saw. It was north, on the same side of the road, Oh, it was crazy. The grass was the same. Two bike riders, people on bicycles, touring bikes and that, were touring, riding their bike down the road, and that's how they found her. And it was exactly as I saw in my head. And their guy, it was like I was looking through the camera lens, for Christ's sakes. The only thing I didn't see was the cop cars and all that. When I saw her, she was just there all by herself on the road, and there was no cars on the road. So it was like out in the desert, if I call it the desert. Is there a desert in California? I really don't know. But it was like dead brush desert type thing. Anyway, it was exactly what I saw. Me and my buddy were just blown away. So the next day, we didn't do it. I was at the coffee shop. He gets a call. He comes in the coffee shop. We're sitting down. I think this is what happened. He gets a call, and it's the FBI, and I'm like, oh, no. And he's talking to the FBI. The FBI called him back from the cop, because we gave a report to the cop, and I guess somehow the FBI got the report from the cop, and the FBI calls him, and he goes, is he here? Like, am I here? And he goes, and I go, yeah, I'm here. And so the cop goes, well, how did, and we told the FBI that we have a cop here and you can contact him, because we got him to let you guys know that we're not fucking around, right? This is a real deal, and we got the cop to back us up. The cop goes, have you ever been, the FBI's like, have you ever been to California, have you ever been to this, and how do you know? How did you know this? How did you know she was there? And I gave the report the day before, exactly as it happened. And so the FBI just basically said, how in the hell did you know? And my friend said, well, he's a remote viewer. And the cop goes, what, describe that. And the FBI goes, describe that. And it was a girl, FBI. And he goes, well, you spiritually leave your body or project your consciousness to that person. You hook up to the person and see what they're doing. And he goes, he's really good at it. And the lady's like, okay. So basically he said they were just checking me out. And we're in Canada, in Windsor, Ontario, right? And he goes, we ain't never been to California. I ain't never been to California. So she never called back. She never said anything. We just gave her a report to her, and that was it. But she called because I was so damn accurate. I mean, with the head injury and the grass and on the side of the highway, exactly where they found her. But when I had that experience, for like a month later, I'd be walking down the street and just tears would come rushing out of my eyes. I just totally, and it's not like I saw anything, but I was in this weird, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a weird state. It's like I'm walking down the street, I'm feeling normal, everything's normal, all of a sudden I'm in this weird state, this bubble thing, and tears would just start rolling out of my eyes. And I'd feel her whole experience in the fucking gore, absolute gore of it. You know, the abuse of it, the gore, everything. The whole sickness just right in me. I just start bawling my eyes out. It was crazy, man. For months later, for months. I mean, it happened. It wouldn't stop, right? It wouldn't stop. And I remember I'm walking down the street. I just started bawling my eyes out. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is 2 months ago and I'm still being affected by it. Just tears. Boosh. And I remember telling myself, okay, stop. Whatever this is, stop. Don't hook up to it. No more. Hook up. Don't hook up to it. And then it stopped. As soon as I told myself, no more of this. So whatever I was doing, because I was so invested, my soul was so invested in helping this girl before she got killed, and then I was there and I saw her get raped. And I never saw her get killed, but you know, I saw the after effects and the blood and the guts and the gore and the whole sickness of the event, the whole ball of sickness. She was just an innocent kid walking down the street, and from what I gathered, this guy, I don't know if they ever caught him or not, I never heard anything about it, but What the hell was I? I don't know. I lost what I was gonna say. I'm there, I'm back and forth. So anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. That's what happens when you do remote viewing. You gotta be ready for all that. And the FBI was scary because that could have spiraled out of control if I didn't have the backup of the cop, right? And if it happened, like, it was in the States this happened, Orange County, California. I was in Canada. I never crossed the border for years, so they have no record of me crossing the border. We gave all our information to the FBI, everything, name, everything, IDs, numbers, phone numbers. Here's the cop that knows we're doing this, just in case you want to know. Stuff like that, you know. We were totally truthful with them. We didn't. And what really freaked me out was I was so fucking accurate from what I saw on TV and what the FBI called, because I was so accurate. That all this confirmation just punching you right in the head constantly. It really freaks you out, man. And you're like, damn. Anyway, that was another case, and then the whole spiritual side effects after it. Bawling your eyes out instantaneously for months afterwards. It really screws you up. And you're supposed to go to another one and do them because there's another missing kid. And you're thinking to yourself, holy shit. You're thinking, damn, it gets real fast. It's like you take on the kid's experience in a sense, in an energy way, in a visual, like you're seeing it. Like, I'm talking to you almost. That's how real it is. It's just you're not getting hit. It's like the guy. I grab him by the head and I'm just wishing I had a knife to cut his throat. And you can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. I mean, how does Jesus Christ deal with this? Worse stuff than that. And he's right in the person. From what my perspective is, what I learned now in 2018, Christ will be in that person, talking to them while they're being raped and their throats cut and the torment and the torture. Christ is in, holding the soul, taking care of it till the event happens. That's what Christ does. That's some heavy stuff, man. So if you're a Christian, all these Christians that are out there being killed and murdered and raped and tortured and stuff, Christ is in them, taking care of them while this is happening to them, consciously. Christ is experiencing what they're experiencing. That's what I know now. I didn't know none of that Christ stuff back then when I was doing the remote viewing. I sure could have used it, but I didn't know anything about it. I was just remote viewing. And wow. But I come to learn now, that's what happens. So anyway, I'm almost at time here. So that was another girl in Orange County, California, that old 12-year-old kid, 13. That got abducted, raped and murdered, and all because the guy was a crackhead or whatever. That's the only reason. He liked her and that was it. And he just went nuts. What the fuck? I don't know.